The story of the Kawasaki W650 has always been one of timeless charm, vintage soul, and mechanical purity. And now, in 2026, Kawasaki has brought this legend back with a fresh identity and upgrade that keeps the retro heart beating but elevates everything around it. Today, on Global Bike Buzz, we dive deep into a motorcycle that doesn't scream for attention, yet effortlessly pulls every eye toward it. This is more than a commuter, more than a classic, and more than a nostalgic throwback. This is the return of a motorcycle that shaped an entire culture of easygoing torque, delightful simplicity, and soulful engineering. And in this long-form breakdown, we explore every detail of what makes the new W650 a standout in the world of retro modern motorcycles. The 2026 Kawasaki W650 continues to hold onto its iconic air-cooled 676 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine, a deliberate move from Kawasaki to preserve the signature vertical fin look and mellow, thumping exhaust note that fans cherish. But beneath that vintage exterior, much has changed. The engine now features revised internals for smoother combustion, reduced vibrations, and improved fuel efficiency. Power remains a gentle but confident 50 horsepower, with torque hovering around 57 Nm, numbers that might not break records, but deliver an incredibly linear, easygoing riding character. The bike pulls cleanly from low RPM, making every ride enjoyable without forcing the rider to shift aggressively. It's refined, calm, smooth, the kind of power delivery that makes you fall in love with riding all over again. In this generation, Kawasaki has added ride-by-wire throttle, improved mapping, and a mild traction assist system designed not to take away the analog charm but to subtly help riders on slippery surfaces. The 5-speed gearbox has been reworked as well, giving smoother engagement, shorter throw, and a more solid click between gears. On the highway, the W650 sits happily at 100 to 110 km per hour with barely a whisper of engine strain. This is a bike made for scenic rides, long curves, and city cruising where performance isn't about speed, but about pleasure. One of the strongest attractions of the 2026 W650 is its aesthetics. Kawasaki didn't just redesign the bike, they respected its heritage. The sculpted tank with polished knee pads, the round halogen-style LED headlamp, the chrome-wrapped exhaust pipes, the retro-stitched saddle, the spoke wheels, and the slightly upright stance all combine to create an image of a motorcycle that could have existed in the 1960s but feels just as relevant today. It's the kind of design that doesn't age, doesn't go out of fashion, and doesn't rely on futuristic edges or aggressive cuts. Instead, it relies on simplicity, proportion, and craftsmanship. Every detail feels touched by hand rather than machine. The twin-pot analog dials remain intact, now assisted with a small digital inset that displays fuel range, trip meters, and gear position indicator. The chrome fenders shine like jewelry, the polished crankcase looks like it belongs on a museum piece, and the dual exhaust pipes curve outward with a balanced elegance that modern bikes simply don't replicate anymore. For riders who appreciate the golden era of motorcycling, this bike doesn't imitate, it revives it authentically. But retro doesn't mean outdated. Kawasaki has secretly packed modern hardware where needed. The LED lighting system blends vintage form with modern function. The updated suspension uses improved damping characteristics that reduce the wobble common in older retro models. The front fork now includes preload adjustability, while the rear twin shocks offer multiple settings for weight, comfort, and load preference. This allows riders to dial in the exact feel they want, soft and plush or slightly firm for spirited riding. Braking sees a solid improvement, with a 320mm front disc paired with a dual-piston caliper and ABS tuned specifically for retro riders. Kawasaki intentionally kept the braking feel soft and progressive instead of sharp and aggressive. This complements the bike's calm personality perfectly. The rear brake feels firm and responsive, ideal for city commutes and slow-speed control. The ABS system is unobtrusive and only kicks in when absolutely necessary, keeping the overall experience pure and analog. The W650's riding posture is one of its biggest strengths. The handlebars are wide and upright. The seat is long, well-padded, and perfectly leveled for both rider and pillion. Foot pegs are placed slightly forward, giving the ideal relaxed riding triangle. It's the kind of bike that welcomes riders of all ages and doesn't fatigue you even after hours on the road. City riding feels effortless, long rides feel rewarding, and every time you sit on it, you feel like you're stepping into another era, one where riding was soulful, calming, and personal fuel efficiency for the 2026 model is significantly better thanks to new injection mapping. Riders can expect around 25 to 28 km/L depending on riding style. With its 15-liter tank, the W650 can easily cover long distances without frequent stops, perfect for weekend tours or everyday commuting. Kawasaki has intentionally kept the exhaust note mellow, throaty, and refined. It's not loud, not aggressive, just a deep, soothing soundtrack that matches the personality of the bike. What truly sets the 2026 Kawasaki W650 apart from the crowded retro segment is its authenticity. While many brands create retro-styled bikes using modern blueprints, the W650 is built from lineage. It is a motorcycle line that actually existed decades ago. It's not pretending to be classic, it is classic, reborn. That heritage gives it a unique emotional value. The bike speaks to riders who prefer simplicity over complexity, charm over aggression, and tradition over modern theatrics. The price of the 2026 Kawasaki W650 is expected to start at around $9,499, which makes it an excellent premium retro choice, positioned neatly between entry-level classic commuters and high-end retro cruisers. For markets like Asia and Europe, localized pricing will vary but will still maintain competitive value for a retro motorcycle with this level of craftsmanship and brand legacy. The price feels justified, considering the blend of analog beauty and modern engineering reliability. This bike is not for riders who seek speed, extreme acceleration, or aggressive cornering. It is designed for riders who appreciate a soulful connection with their machine. Riders who enjoy cruising at a comfortable pace, taking in the scenery, or simply loving the feel of a beautifully engineered motorcycle beneath them. It's a bike built for cafe lovers, Royal Enfield rivals, classic purists, collectors, and new riders who want a stress-free, stylish machine. The 2026 W650 is also the kind of motorcycle that holds value over time, because classics don't depreciate like modern sport machines. They become icons, collectibles, and sentimental machines that owners maintain with pride. Kawasaki has built the new W650 with enough reliability and durability to last decades if properly cared for. This is a buy once, enjoy forever kind of motorcycle. In conclusion, the 2026 Kawasaki W650 isn't trying to be the fastest, the most advanced, or the most powerful machine in its segment. Instead, it embraces the role of being the most soulful. A motorcycle that takes you back to the essence of riding, where every throttle input, every curve, and every vibration connects directly to your emotions. For riders who crave simplicity blended with premium quality, this bike is everything you can ask for. It's classy, elegant, smooth, comfortable, reliable, and built with genuine respect for motorcycling heritage. For those watching on Global Bike Buzz, the message is clear: if you want a motorcycle that isn't just transportation but an experience, a machine that captures the spirit of the golden motorcycle era while giving you modern reliability, then the 2026 Kawasaki W650 deserves a top spot on your radar. Whether you're riding through narrow streets, cruising by the coastline, or enjoying winding country roads, this motorcycle will remind you why riding is not just a hobby, but a feeling.